Jay is an incredibly humble person, and he is, I think he would maybe be a little conflicted about the attention that this award might receive.
Within moments of having conversations with Jay, you know, his brilliance and his generosity and some of those very core values came through, and I knew immediately, you know, that I was sharing a conversation with someone who I wanted to continue to get to know.
I liked in particular that Jay had a history, and his family had a history here in the state of Wyoming. Jackson Hole was the diamond in the rough, and they polished that diamond to an exquisite destination resort.
One of the things that really drives Jay is things that relate to the code of the West. When you get to know him, what he really cares and values is that Western hospitality, that the Western ethos.
That is the person Jay Kemmerer represents. It's his North Compass. He believes in this area, this not just Jackson Hole, but the state of Wyoming.
As Karen and Jay came together as a family and with his extended family, I will tell you that that family was always core to Jay.
Really, I don't think that we would be where we're at today with our visitor economy without the investments and the leadership and the vision that Jay and his family had in a deep love and appreciation of this place and the people who are here.
A great demonstration of how you can have a thriving visitor economy and also a respect for the land that gives you that opportunity.
It takes a man and a commitment and a family that is patient, that is thoughtful, that values the employees. We had well over 2,000 employees when I was here. That commitment to early on bringing people at a higher wage rate, provide workforce housing, which is critical here, particularly in Teton County. And Jay was all about that.
I mean, part of the magic sauce that he created, that they created as a family, definitely included pride of ownership. And I think as employees, we all shared in that pride. We all really felt like we were contributing. It was, again, buying into their vision of what this could be.
You can really see the leadership that Jay provided in the Jackson Hole Mountain Resort. And you can see Jay's kind of fingerprints in all of that kind of experience that you have at the resort.
If you want to fly in and out of Jackson Hole today, a lot of that is the fruits of the labor of what Jay Kemmerer started with a group of individuals.
We now have 15 cities that fly nonstop service to Jackson Hole during the winter months. And that was pure Jay Kemmerer.
He really was so visionary, and his ability to partner in the right way, and then a business acumen that is probably in many ways unprecedented. And then his just genuine love of Wyoming.
He could have invested anywhere, but he wanted to reinvest in Wyoming. And that's what's key, and that's what this all represents.
If all of us, myself included, to the ability that we can, if we would look at people who are examples like Jay and say, what can I do? How can I model that? If we all did that, that's really where Wyoming would be at its finest. Jay, I am so honored to be a part of your celebration. Congratulations from the bottom of my heart.
Congratulations, Jay. You really deserve this.
Congratulations, Jay. Well done.
Jay Kemmerer, congratulations, and don't think this is the last time we'll be saying it. You are the best. Thank you.
Hi, it's Jay Kemmerer here. I regret I am not able to be with you today due to a long-standing commitment abroad. Now for the shock and great honor to be included in the Wyoming Business Hall of Fame. When I was a little kid visiting Wyoming for the summer, I never dreamed that I would be considered among its business leaders. I would like to thank the founders of the Hall of Fame, Bill Schilling and Brent Hathaway, for bringing recognition to the state's entrepreneurial success. I would also like to congratulate Chuck Brown and the Wald family on their induction into this prestigious organization. The spirit of the West and of Wyoming has been an undercurrent in my life from the very beginning. My Wyoming story really starts with my father, John L. Jr., who was a geologist and leader in the coal mining business. The Kemmerer family started coal mining in Pennsylvania, Virginia, and West Virginia in the 1870s and expanded to southwestern Wyoming in the 1890s. When I was a little boy, we would spend several weeks each summer in Frontier, Wyoming, when my father was working in the coal company office. Frontier was the company town adjacent to the city of Kemmerer, which is named after my ancestor, Malin Sisti Kemmerer. Later, my parents took us to vacation at the CM Ranch in Dubois. I remember learning to fish there and going on pack trips up into the Wind River Range, where we camped. We rode through snowdrifts, and sometimes I would be silly and ride backwards on my horse. Then when I was a teenager, my dad brought me along on geology trips with him and 3 other geologists. We would travel across the entire state prospecting for coal, oil, and gas, and uranium. It was so easy to fall in love with the incredible landscape, the open range, the wild Wyoming stories, the cheap motels, and the easygoing pace of life. These were my formative memories that drew me back to Wyoming as an adult. At my father's request, I sold the coal company to Gulf Oil in 1981, but I didn't want our presence in Wyoming to come to an end. At the time, we were the largest shareholder of First Wyoming Bank, and I went on the board and chaired the investment committee. This led me to tour our regional branches around the state and to meet subsidiary bank presidents. One of these bank meetings really changed the trajectory of my life. The president of the Jackson branch was Jerry Rankin, and he introduced me to John Resor, who was trying to acquire the Jackson Hole Mountain Resort. The resort was in litigation and was close to bankruptcy. I was eager to reinvest in Wyoming, so I jumped at the chance to get my family involved in the state again. In July of 1992, I purchased the resort. It was a real diamond in the rough at the time, but I recognized that it deserved a tender, loving care that would bring it back to life. It took a tremendous amount of work and resources. My family reinvested more than $300 million to improve the resort, including many new high-speed lifts and 2 gondolas and the crown jewel, a new aerial tram. I recognize what an incredible asset Jackson Hole was for the region and the state, but I have honestly been surprised to watch it grow into one of the premier destinations in the West. My goal was to create a profitable company and a great ski experience, but with hard work and an extraordinary senior team and our 2 resort presidents, Jerry Bland and Mary Kate Buckley, we exceeded all my expectations. I recently sold JHMR in February 2024 to my 2 best friends, Mike Corbett and Eric Macy, who are now local Wyoming residents. It was very important for me to preserve the legacy of the Jackson Hole independence, not to sell to a large conglomerate. I'm very pleased with how we've been able to transition the resort to its next chapter of leadership. Since 1997, my family has been thrilled to own the same CM Ranch that we grew up visiting as a child. The CM is the second oldest guest ranch in Wyoming, dating back to 1927. We have really taken pride in keeping the authenticity and historic nature of the ranch intact, even as we attract new guests. Finding the balance of the Old West and modern hospitality has really been important to us. I have been blessed with incredible on-site managers, Hunter and Molly Sullivan, who have been integral in helping make our vision a reality. Along the way, it's been essential to me and my family that we give back to the state that has been so generous to us. I might be most proud of the fact that my family and I have contributed over $32 million to nonprofits in Jackson and the state. Since 1992, we have funded a full-ride scholarship for 8 undergraduate students at the University of Wyoming. Plus, we also endowed 2 graduate fellowships at the Haub School of Environment and Natural Resources within the university. My wife Karen has been on the board of the Haub School, and I have to thank her for encouraging me so enthusiastically to love and support the university and the state. I've endeavored to be a good steward of the land and the natural resources and beauty that Wyoming offers. Being environmentally conscious has always been a top priority. In our coal mining days, we took great care with our reclamation of our mining operation. At Jackson Hole, we received an ISO 14001 certification for environmental performance and several national ski area awards for environmental excellence. One of the neat things that we did was recycling cooking oil to fuel our engines for some of our vehicles. And I also take great pride in the preservation of the original buildings and cabins at the CM Ranch, which are listed on the National Registry of Historic Places. My hope is that visitors for generations from now will be able to enjoy the same splendor and wonder that drew me in when I was young. Throughout all this, my priority has never been my own personal goals, but rather creating an environment of enjoyment and safety for employees and guests. I feel that my success has come from Christian values, hard work, collaborative efforts with a great senior team and employees. I've always tried to do what is best for the community and my family, not necessarily myself. At this point in my career, I hope to encourage young Wyoming business graduates to focus on hard work, customer service, and hospitality. One of my main efforts now is the Worth Institute at the University of Wyoming. Worth literally stands for what I think is the future of the state's economy: Wyoming, outdoor recreation, tourism, and hospitality. I was flattered earlier this year when the university decided to rename it the J. Kemmerer Worth Institute. It is incredibly exciting to have my name associated with the second largest industry in Wyoming, which is so critical to our bright future. I'm very proud to be a representative of the Equality State and so thankful for all the opportunities this magnificent land has provided. You have honored me in an amazing way, and for that I will be forever grateful. Thank you.